just watched a video about how deep the CIA goes to protect, bitch, to protect everybody else. Now, for me, I know for a fucking fact they saw me as a mole, is what they called me, right? Like that I draw certain things, and I've said it before, even at my job, there's a whole bunch of documentation on there, me Googling numbers and shit. Because I would draw and I got information from like France and like a whole bunch of fucking places, bitch. But it was these fucking people, these witches that were always telling me, why don't you draw? Why don't you figure out what the fuck this says? And blah, blah, blah. So I would draw. Like, I don't know, bitch. This is my gift, right? I just draw. And then I'm Googling shit. And I started noticing that it has to do with what's going on right now and what was going to happen in the future. That's why I kept saying all this shit. And people were targeting me, calling me like I was some kind of threat to society, bitch. But mind you, Eric Moreno had sold me out even before all this came out. I didn't even know. I didn't even draw before, bitch. So how the fuck did this bitch know? Because they were using spell work, bitch. They were using spell work. They were using technology like you saw. I had posted something about the CIA having these what are they called? These rocks, these stones that they could see the future with it. And that's how they are controlling the world, trying to divert. If let's say in time, it says you're supposed to go this way, the CIA and all the government officials are trying to make it go that way in order for whatever outcome that was going this way. Like, let's say there was going to be a war or some shit was going to happen. They would try to avoid it, and then they would steer it to the other side. Okay, so mind you, whatever the fuck is written that God says, ho, you can't rewrite that shit. So I have been a victim of all of these, and I've been saying the CIA, all these government officials used energy weapons on me. They've used a whole bunch of tactics that they use on fucking people, and I'm just a fucking, I don't want to say an average person, because obviously now I know I ain't average, bitch, but I mean, I wasn't hurting anybody. I was actually even speaking out like, I don't know, I'm supposed to say this. I know these things and maybe it's to save society, bitch. I don't know. However, I also made people aware that there were people in the background spoon feeding themselves with my information. So make that shit make sense. The government sent people to monitor me and control me. And these same people that they brought in were the ones spoon feeding and taking it for themselves. Talking about like if whatever the fuck I said in a drawing, they would go behind the scenes talking about that same thing like they knew about that shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I also had to say that because if anything, you were the motherfucking mole, bitch. You. Or, you know, I was a gifted person and you were walking around like you were somebody, but you were actually feeding off of me. And it was scarier. I was scared because I didn't know what the fuck. You can take that shit and take it to another country. But anyways, I'm going to post it right here. Just clarification, bitch.